It's William here, and I'm here this morning to talk to you about running BlackStar boardrooms and what you'll need to do as a BlackStar boardroom chairman. So we're going to cover finding venues, setting up the events on the site, inviting boardroom members and visitors to your boardroom, what you need to think about before the meeting, whilst you're running the meeting and at the close of the meeting, and finally some of the things that you can do online in the new BlackStar Boardroom online elements of the Academy site. So let's start off by looking at what you need to find in a venue. Well, the boardrooms take place in a confidential environment, a business environment, and so finding somewhere that has that confidential feel and a workspace for about 12 people is really important. We recommend a private room either in a hotel or in an office, and if you have your own office with a boardroom, even better, somewhere that you control entirely in the space. It really should have easy access. We under the discrimination acts that we now have in the UK and probably in other places around the world, you should be able to access the workspace in a wheelchair or for the disabled. And for refreshments, you're looking for teas and coffees and water and other soft drinks. Now normally the venues can provide all of those. Some venues can also provide meals, either brought in buffet style, or if you're in a hotel, perhaps in the restaurant. It's less important that when you eat the meal that you're in a totally confidential environment, so it's perfectly okay to move to a nearby venue to eat, but we do think that it's important to have a meal as part of the boardroom session, because during that time the members of the boardroom get a chance to learn more about each other in a more social and relaxed environment rather than focusing on the boardroom issues. So let's have a look at setting up the event online, and all of the new BlackStar boardrooms will have an online boardroom group that is in the new boardroom section of Academy. So I'm going to now just bring over an example of how that's going to look. And this is the boardroom page on Academy that people will find when they click the boardroom link up here. If they're not in a boardroom, they'll get offered this information and the opportunity to find boardrooms, events, leaders, and indeed to start their own boardroom for a local group near themselves. So when we look at what a boardroom will look like, this is the Bristol boardroom, and you can see here that visitors to the home page of the group will see that I'm leading that group, chairing that group, and can send me a message directly from here. I also see the opportunity to invite potential members, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. And here's the next event that's set up for that boardroom in Bristol on the 24th of February between 5 PM and 10 PM at the Hotel du Vin. And I can add new events directly from here. Here all of the members of the group will appear. Now this is at the moment a test group, so you won't see other members here because they haven't yet joined. But as you build your group, the pictures and the links to your members will appear here. So that's the home page of the boardroom clubs, and the events appear in the catalogue like this. So as a boardroom chairman, people can easily find your events and see who is chairing the meeting through the little glyph image. It also appears there. So how do we set up an event? Well, just like any other event on Academy, when you click the create an event on the home page of your boardroom group, it'll take you to this page where you can fill in a name, the date and time, the venue, and very importantly the venue postcode, because we use that to position the event on the map. The country, the SEO description, this is my default one, but you may wish to change that, and then of course the description. Now here we can set the type of meeting it is, and generally speaking private meeting is fine. We'll default these values for you, and also this will be defaulted to your BlackStar boardroom group so that it's linked properly for your members. We recommend that your registration is for all members of Academy, but you get the opportunity to approve that or to remove them as the chairman. Boardrooms benefit really well from 1 or 2 visitors each month. The visitors bring a new profile, a new view on the issues that are brought to the table, and those visitors should be brought by members of your group by invitation, people who they think would benefit from being a part of the group and from learning and from contributing to it. If you know that certain issues are going to be discussed, you may want to invite an expert in that area, for example. Attendee visibility should be anyone, and that again encourages others to see your boardroom and visit it. And the maximum attendees will depend on the venue that you have. We recommend at least 5 and no more than 12 in each session. And a couple of things to send email reminders. Excuse me. And as I say, we'll default those values for you. Finally, these are chargeable events. As a boardroom chairman, you should cover your costs in organising the meeting and any venue hire and refreshment and meal costs that are incurred by the attendees. We'd recommend that you calculate the total cost of the event, divide it by the number of expected attendees, and add approximately £5 to £10 to cover your own administration and money collection fees. We use PayPal to provide a collection facility for you, and that does deduct a fee for collecting the money, usually of around 5%. If you're using your own facilities, therefore, with refreshments brought in, it's likely that the events will be charged at around £20, and if you're in a hotel with a private dining room having a good quality meal at the end of the session, the cost might be as high as £50. So you just complete, change the is the event chargeable to yes. Obviously complete the currency. If you're not in the UK, you can collect in your local currency from this drop down. Most of the major currencies are there, and of course you can always collect in dollars or euros or pounds anyway. Enter the charge amount here. Now if you have a local tax such as value-added tax in the United Kingdom or purchase tax, state tax in the USA, that you need to add to the cost of your meeting, then whether you need to add it here or not depends on the settings that you have at PayPal. So you need to check whether you're including tax by default or excluding it. I choose to exclude tax by default and specifically include it where I know it needs to be paid. So if I was charging £20 for the venue net of tax here, I would put £23.50. Our tax in the UK is 17.5%. I'd put £23.50 then into this charge amount. PayPal would collect £23.50, send that to my account. I would pay the tax to the relevant authorities, the £3.50. I'd pay PayPal a collection fee, and I'd be left with the balance. So that's setting up a meeting, and here's one. So this is my Bristol boardroom event, and you can see I've got some detailed descriptions of the agenda, the venue, the pricing, what people are getting for that money, and something about me and about inviting guests. Now if I scroll down here, you'll see that's exactly the same setup as you've just seen. The name, the date, the venue, postcode, and the description. You'll see here that I've changed the SEO description to BlackStar, Bristol BlackStar Boardroom Hotel de Vin. So that's and here it's linked to the group as well, as I described earlier. So that's the setup on the Academy system for setting up the event. So we've set up the event, we've added the meeting fee, and we've published. So that concludes the first part of this video, which has covered what a BlackStar Boardroom Chairman needs to do to set up a meeting. I'm going to leave you with this example of the boardroom in Bristol. Thanks so much for listening. In part 2, we'll cover some aspects of running the meetings before, during and after the session, and what you can do online with the new online boardrooms as well. Thanks so much.